All right, green, red, aggro, and historic. One of the cards they backfilled into historic was this incredibly powerful and obnoxious card here, Burning-Tree Emissary. So when this comes into play, it makes 2 mana. It's essentially free the turn you play it. So we've got 8 decent 1-drops, and then turn 2, you can go Burning-Tree Emissary into a second 2-drop, into 3s, into 4s. We're just looking to get a little smashy here this morning to start things off. So let's hop on into a historic constructed event here and see how this goes. Feedback on historic on the sub survey I sent out over the weekend has been very promising. Almost 80% of subscribers who filled out the survey said that they enjoy some amount of historic content. If you're someone watching now or on YouTube in the future, you can find the link to the sub survey if you are a Twitch subscriber in the subscriber Discord. Not really, Justin. This hand's great. It doesn't have a 1-drop, but it'll go Burning-Tree, Burning-Tree 2-drop on 2. So I just banned Shame Spiral from my channel because they just said Bernie is the only candidate they would vote for Trump over because they're not into socialism. You can bugger off, you uneducated, fear-pandering wanker. What Bernie is proposing is not socialism. What Bernie is proposing is democratic. What Bernie is proposing is social safety nets to ensure that people don't go broke if they get sick or if their child gets sick. What Bernie is suggesting is things that Nordic countries and countries in Europe have had for a long time that are not socialist countries. The things that he is proposing would disrupt the status quo of the people who stand to make lots of profits off of people being sick. And the fact that not profiting off people who are sick is viewed as socialism in this country is nonsense. That is fear pandering, and it's straight up Fox News talking points. It is straight up not true. Do not let the door hit you in the backside on the way out. You want to tell me you don't want to vote for Bernie for some other reason that's based in fact and reality? That's great. You're entitled to your opinion, but do not come into my channel and spew nonsense, because that's what that is. If you want to have a conversation from a position of good faith with things you're concerned about from the details of a policy perspective, I'm willing to engage with that and have an actual conversation with you. But do not show up in my channel and spew Fox News and GOP talking points about how helping people is socialism. When we bail out Wall Street or the banks, it's just something that needs to be done because that's taking care of big businesses. When you suggest we do something that helps actual Americans, it's socialism and evil. It's nonsense. Untapped red source here is a really good draw. Lets me attack with this Gallia and throw a sword on her, which then turns on Klothys. If the things Bernie Sanders is proposing the United States do constitute socialism, then public schools are socialism, then snowplows are socialism, then the fact that you have safe drinking water accessible to you is socialism. If fire departments, police departments, those are socialism if you think the things Bernie Sanders is proposing constitute socialism and something you should be afraid of.
No one said, ha, I've seen worse.
think we're dead here at this point, huh? Maybe Klothys can scrape it out. The questing beast has beaten us down pretty quickly, though. If we drew a piece of action this turn, we might have been okay. Thanks for the 10-month stack. Oh, I appreciate that. Welcome back.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
Yes, everything our taxes pay for is socialism. They literally call it social security. Is that lethal? Gosh, that's so close to lethal. Unfortunately, we're just dead next turn on the backswing, right? We're 1 point off. Thanks for taking part in the democratic process, Invictius. If you don't want to pay taxes, does that make you a socialist? Does that? If I don't want to pay taxes, does that make me a socialist? No. Anti-socialist. You know, if you don't want to pay taxes, it makes you a prick. Makes you borderline stupid. Libertarian, borderline stupid, same difference. The number of things that people use every day that depend on their taxes, like, makes you ignorant to reality. Taxation is theft, yeah, something like that. So the 16-month shove, welcome back. We're looking for a blue source for presidency. All right, I think Gallia's probably not very good here because they're going to gum up the board a little bit. Maybe I don't want this many lava coils on the play. Probably want to be a little bit more aggressive. How do I want to trim here? Spellbreaker, I guess the board gets gummed up. Maybe this is the cut, or is it just Zhur-Taa Goblin? I'm a little bit worried about cutting too many 2-drops to make our Burning-Tree Emissaries worse here. I don't know, maybe this is pulling up too much. Is Ferocidon good? Maybe. They didn't really have much life gain, right? They had like exactly Murderous Rider. Feels bad, man. If you want to pay less than the 40% you pay now, if you're currently paying 40% in taxes, you make an ungodly amount of money in the United States. Just full stop. If you currently pay 40% in taxes, you can afford to keep doing so. Or maybe you have a really bad accountant. That could be it too. You live in Western Europe. Well, the alternative to you paying 40% in taxes is you going bankrupt if you or a family member gets sick. So I'd encourage you to think about which of those options you'd like. Do you know what my effective tax rate was last year? You Americans don't know how much we have to pay. My effective tax rate last year was like 25 to 30%. And if you factor in what we pay for healthcare on top of that, more than 40% of my income went to healthcare plus my taxes. So I, like basically every middle-class American in the United States, would save money under Bernie's Medicare for All plan. The only people who pay money the only people in the United States who would not save money based on Medicare for all are people who make incredible amounts of money. Because that's how a society's supposed to work. The people who make incredible amounts of money are only making that because of the structure society has put in place. Yes, we're taxed in a different way. They're just not strictly labeled as taxes. This is exactly correct. Dude Cab, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Just again, for people that aren't familiar, to highlight absurdities in the American system, for people who are from other countries and think you have it worse. Christy and I have what's considered very good insurance in the United States, very good private insurance. Having our third child this year will likely cost us close to 5 figures in medical expenses. And then after we have that child and have 5 figures in medical expenses, after Christy takes her 16 weeks of maternity leave, which again, in the United States, 16 weeks is considered an incredibly long maternity leave, we will then pay almost $1,300 a month in daycare expenses. And again, we're very fortunate and can afford to be able to do that. We decided to have this child on purpose because we budgeted and are going to be able to afford those expenses I just listed. But again, that's the reality of how those systems work in the United States. Meatwad, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I said 5 figures, not 6 figures. So like our deductible will get up around, I think our family deductible is 10K, I believe. Individual max is at 5. But they'll split the cost between my wife and the new kid, so we'll pay more than 5. I think I'm playing this as opposed to playing Coil. Children are expensive, correct. Childbirth is covered by insurance, but the insurance that cost my wife and her employer over $20,000 per year just to have also has a deductible past that, which is $5,000 per person and a $10,000 maximum per family. So in the United States, you pay 20 grand per year to then pay another 10 grand. This'll be the last child we have. My wife has a condition called hyperemesis, which means in some of her pregnancies she becomes deathly ill. She was literally bedridden for 2 entire months at the end of last year. When I mentioned a lot of personal stuff going on at the end of last year, that's what I was referring to. And again, we were very fortunate that her being sick for 2 entire months and having to take a lot of time off work is something that we were able to afford to do, in large part because of you people who support me here, and I appreciate you. We knew that that was a possibility. Klothys might drag us across the finish line here on the back of this questing beast. This kills Braska. So this gives food for this next turn, and then like if they kill this, it gives us more food past that. Is that something you would have known about before the first kid? It wasn't, Singer. What do you define as large amounts of money? Medicare for all will cost me more. Mid 6 figures, like $500,000 plus per year. Yeah, go to BernieTax.com and type your stuff in. If you're someone like me who has a family who like will regularly use some amount of your health insurance, Bernie's plan's gonna end up saving you money. Unless you're making $500,000 or more per year in most situations. Yes, you also have to lowball because you're not sure what it'll cost you. The Phoenixes have been very good, I agree. Evasive haste threats are great. Klothys has also been good, just very similar, also gaining us life here. So you're making less than $500,000 per year. I thought all streamers were... Top 5 streamers in real video games are probably wealthy. I make enough here to be able to afford to pay for daycare and save a little bit of money past that, but I do not make $500,000 per year. Yes, that one would not be accurate. BernieTax.com is the link. When does the historic ladder turn back on? I believe the historic ladder should be turning back on March 12th when we get the next drop of historic cards. I believe that's how it's going to coincide. You make $500 bits, not dollars. That's probably close to true. Actually, I could probably go back and look at that. I'm not sure that that's true. I renamed it Pathfinder. It's the blue-white gods. So I built it and I put it in the queue and then I named it what the deck is. Maybe I should probably start putting in the notes column when I do that, because you're not the first person to be confused by that. Should note, like, this is the X build around. How much do you pay for daycare in the US? We just got a note that my daycare costs will be going up next month, and they'll probably go up again in the fall before the new child starts. But for an infant, daycare costs a little over $300 per week where I live in the Midwest. And the cost of daycare in the Midwest, in a smaller city where I live, is less than the cost of daycare in places like New York, Chicago, Seattle, California. All right, with a 1-3 here, I think we just go ahead and kill this, play a tap plan per week. When we send our daughter to daycare in the fall, it will cost a little bit under $1,300 per month. Put these towards Team or Aggro. We'll do the flash. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate the support. My 4-year-old is a little bit cheaper. Declan, we currently pay about $270 per week for. So it's a little bit cheaper if the child's older because the adult to child ratio is slightly less for the older kids. Forgot to put my bits towards the deck. Put it all towards absurd child cost. Thanks, Beetle. All right, let's make this haste and then smack them for 6 here. Diaper money, because you got a child. The best gift you can get a parent is diapers. Ain't that a truth? Ain't that the truth? Thanks for the biddies, Rhino. And again, me talking about these costs should not be construed as me complaining about them. Christy and I were responsible. We knew these costs. We talked about it. We decided this was something we wanted to do. So, like, we've budgeted for all of this. And like I've always said, as long as this pays me to be my job, I'm going to be here doing it. But it's just to highlight again, that's just like, there are a lot of people who are not as fortunate as we are, my wife and I. And I'm aware of that. And part of the reason why I support Bernie and progressive policies, because I think it's important to fight for people who are less fortunate than I am. Because everyone who wants to should be able to have a family, in my opinion. So they have to double block Spellbreaker here because it tramples, right? And we'll get to bump up Phoenix of the Ash to trade with this, which will unlock Zhur-Taa Goblin next turn. So in a pretty good spot to win this game, feels like. Start buying waves. So actually, fun fact, Christy was looking at Target sales, and there's I think it's a 20% discount on baby stuff at Target coming up, so we're probably gonna buy a giant case of infant diapers and wipes, just because 20% off's a pretty good deal. This stream's no way sponsored or endorsed by Target, but Target, if you're out there, it certainly could be. Let's talk. All right, what are we doing here? I think this is probably a matchup where, I think, again, especially on the draw, I want to pause and pull up. So there were not bans that happened yesterday. There was the pre-announcement that bans will be coming down the line yesterday. Is what we had. So they announced the coming of a ban announcement. Yo, dog. This is probably too much removal. I think I want Questerson to attack through. We target things all the time on this stream. Target, if you're out there, the subliminal advertising will be insane. Ain't that the truth? Could work the context shilling quite often with that one. That was a phenomenal draw. Yes, this green red aggro is Marty's submission. Correct, Scap. Most like most things the US doesn't have, major developed countries that have first world countries are more caring about their citizens than the United States. Besides my website, are there any other good resources for Historic? Not that I'm aware of, Mr. 3000. It hasn't been a hugely supported format as of yet. All right, Mr. Questerson. I think I'm just supposed to sword them here. Maybe I'm supposed to kill their Supreme Phantom. But like, 10U turn on my Klothys sounds really appealing. Why would you compare the US to first world countries? It's funny because it's sad. Yeah, the deck lists on MTG Goldfish are literally, they're literally just viewer submitted decks. I do not have anything specific offhand about how Medicare affects the military. Unless you're someone in the military making an incredible salary, I can't imagine you're going to be losing money on it, though. Unless, like, I'm not familiar. I guess I don't know. Does, like, 0% of money come out of your paycheck for your healthcare in the military? Do we know with Historic next week? With the Historic announcement next week, they should make a final decision to suspend or permanently, or to unsuspend or permanently ban things. Also, with the, where there's supposed to be a state of the game update on Thursday, that's Historic focus. So I wouldn't be surprised if Thursday's update tells us what they plan to do with those cards. Yeah, I'm not going to profess to understand anything regarding the Medicare for All bill surrounding military. That's not something I've looked at or done research on personally. Easy mulligan. Easy mulligan. I'm really hoping the 5th gives us field. I agree. Really hope on the 12th we get fielded back. We had an Optimist add Yarok field back to the queue already, so hopefully we don't have to change that to something else. This is probably going to be a challenging match for us, especially with this pretty bad start. That's not true, Bacon. So if you're making under $200,000 per year, or maybe even a little bit more than that, depending on what your medical costs are, your total costs will go down, but your taxes do go up. So one of the ways people talk about Bernie's plan is, how does Medicare for All get paid for? Income past the first $29,000 per year that you make does get taxed more at a progressive rate. The key thing to understand, though, is that the total cost that you're paying in taxes at that progressive rate is going to be less than any middle-class person pays for reasonable health insurance now in the United States. So saying your taxes don't go up is untrue, but your costs in total will go down. That is factually correct. Ferocidon was in fact made for this matchup. You're not wrong. Fry sounds great. Lava Coil might be great. I might be boarding wrong because I just like really hate Zhur-Taa Goblin. What do we think of this? I think I like it. Let's give it a try. Your taxes go up now if you don't pay for healthcare. Yeah, but it's pretty rare that your current healthcare costs are zero, right? Right, Tumos? So like, for example, the health insurance I have now through Christy's work, we pay like $400 a month for our family, and her work pays like over $1,000 a month for our family. And like, our costs, that $400 per month that we pay now, that will go down under Medicare for All, especially when you factor in any co-pays and deductibles that we pay year to year. Correct. What we have in our monthly premiums is considered very good. Again, we have a semi-high deductible and $5,000 per person and $10,000 per family. Yes, one of the things the Trump administration actually did away with was the Trump administration removed the penalty for not being insured. Medicare for All covers everyone. Actual everyone. I'm just gonna go ahead and fry this and use my mana. Correct. Labor mobility 100% increases under Medicare for All. Because you don't have to worry about going bankrupt from getting sick if you quit your job. Wait, so all beats everyone? It does. It's wild. Alright, so I'm glad we held on to this, so I'll get to do this target here, and then Ferocidon. We were in a pretty good spot this game regardless, but Ferocidon probably locks it up. They, like, need to answer this, but then they also have to beat my board that has 9 power on it. Have a damage. Have a damage. If they double block here, they die, right? Morning, Mr. Maple Syrup. Dino's got the soul siblings number for sure. It's definitely our key card to surviving here. They're dead no matter how they block, right? Because they can go block 1 and then take 8. And that was a good start for us. We were on the play though. I think on the draw, I'm supposed to bring in... I'm going to leave some of these, but I think I need a couple more removal spells on the draw. I don't have a source on that site bacon now, but there's a direct quote from Bernie talking about his plan that talks about $29,000 being the threshold. So maybe that site's not completely accurate if it doesn't have that information. Demolisher, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, so we definitely just do this, right? Just like cut the health drain off at the bud. Rude. Feels bad, man. All right, so we're gonna go fry this one. I was gonna ambush this, but now that we drew this, we'll just do this. Hey, Scottoria, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Glandia. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I Phoenix and then just ambush, kill the Daxos here. They're fumbling enough that we might be able to win this game too. Doctor. Thank you to everybody who voted today and in the previous primaries. Appreciate the half year. Welcome back. Black Lotus, I appreciate the 5 months. I think we just keep killing their stuff and attacking, right? It might be right to put the counter on here so I'm not like don't have all my eggs in this Phoenix basket. If you don't vote in the primary, yes, of course, Big. Okay. Hopefully Phoenix can close the door here. Yeah, Domri's ambush is really, really good. Gruul's the best deck in Historic. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that, Mikey. Maybe I'm supposed to attack with Bonecrusher Giant there. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to... Yeah, I messed up here, right? Am I not supposed to play this too? Yeah, I think I'm not supposed to play this. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking about like what they could have here. No, there's not. There's just a window to my left. The lighting in this room is god-awful. So they get to animate Heliod now. Yeah, I definitely should have attacked with this last turn. I would have forced a chump block. I think we're actually dead here. Because of my bad play. Yeah, you know what? You know what else is funny? I guess if I hadn't played this, they would have attacked with this. That's super unfortunate. So I guess we kill Giant Killer here. Yeah. Yeah, if I would have forced a chump block last turn, they wouldn't have had both of these, and they wouldn't have had the comeback power they had here. We're not guaranteed dead, but we're definitely in a much worse spot than we otherwise would be here at the moment. No, I said I've been looking for a contractor to try and finish an unfinished space in a different space in my basement. Yeah, we're actually just dead here. That one's 100% on me. I think we definitely win this game if I make the attack with the giant on that turn. Didn't play around a removal spell and got promptly punished for it. Yeah, so the basement that in my current home is fully finished except for one room. And yeah, the first contractor that we had come out, like, took forever to get back to me and, like, gave me a price that felt high, like, even with soundproofing stuff. So I want a second opinion. It's been, like, pulling teeth trying to find someone to get a second opinion. I was, like, trying to get references from actual people, but I ended up just doing a Google search yesterday, and I've got someone else coming out tomorrow afternoon. Declan actually bounced back from being sick incredibly quickly, which was relieving. He, like, had a fever on Sunday and, like, threw up Sunday early afternoon, and, like, his fever broke Sunday night, and then, like, we kept him home yesterday, and he's back to school today. Bouncing around and good. Hey, Jaeger, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hopefully they're not a deck that play sweepers. If they do, we're probably dead, but I can't really hold back on our bold to 5 here. Need to just pressure them out of the game. Well, I don't know that I'll look good necessarily with better lighting, but yeah. Looking forward to not having a giant window that not only gives awkward light. I guess I could get blackout curtains for this window, but, like, this window also, like, leaks air, like windows are known to do. So, like, it's extra cold in the winter. Sure. They're one card away, so if they have a Fabled Passage, they'll get to play Kroxa this turn. Or if they have a 1-cost thing in a land. If they have 5 cards total right now, but that includes Kroxa. Oh, feels bad, man. The land here means that if we draw a Phoenix, it'll be lethal. So we got that going for us. Their Kroxa's popping up here, though, so we're not going to have a lot of time to screw around. Spellbreaker would have been lethal here, too. Yep. It's a pretty close game considering we started on 5 cards. Alright, we go to 8. So, go to 7. Need one of our lethal draws here. Opponent's definitely right to attack. They just need to kill us before we peel on them. Oh, we're so close. It's so close. We take 9 next turn. It's actually worth noting here that if I would have kept the ambush in my hand, I'd be 3 life higher. But I guess I'd still die, right? If I was at 10 there, they were hitting me for 10 the following turn, so I guess it didn't matter. I guess it didn't matter. I think I'm actually just leaving this how it is. I guess Domri's ambush seems kind of beat him. I trim one of those, bring in 1 extra questing beast. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Mikey. Yeah, I agree. The red-black Crocs deck in Standard is the closest thing to, a mid-range deck that's playable in Standard in a long time. Could keep the God for an extra draw. No, they have Castle in play. But that isn't counting how it would change co-pays and deductibles as well. BJ Roth, under Bernie's proposed Medicare for All plan, there are no co-pays and there are no deductibles. Your healthcare costs are fixed in what you pay for taxes every year. That's why it's not accounting for that, because they're gone. Oh, you're saying it doesn't account for what you pay now. Well, you can estimate that. Like, when you put in your healthcare costs for a year, you should include everything. Okay, so this gives us a total of 4 devotion of the extra 5 we need for Klothys. So if we play Klothys next turn, and then we get to grab another piece of devotion, we'll get to turn it on the following turn. That being said, it's pretty unlikely we get to untap with everything here. Like, I assume they're going to have some interaction. Hey, Heller. Subs for the aggro gods. This is the peak aggro deck in Historic right now. I appreciate the happy year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Do we ignore Crux? What does that mean? Yeah, depending on what they do here, Klothys wakes up. Like, if they just play, like, the mill creature that, like, mills them too. Sure. Why would I generate mana with Klothys? Yeah, if Bernie's Medicare for All plan passed as is, it would include medical and vision and dental. Klothys is hopefully going to take us all the way home. So here's the important thing to understand. A lot of times I hear people say things like, Bernie won't get anything passed, etc., etc. Overtone window is really important. Do you want someone who's going to encourage other people to run on progressive policies, or do you want someone who's going to be lukewarm to begin with? I think it's also important to recognize, I'm making a mana here so I can Bonecrusher Stomp plus play Bonecrusher as a 4/3. Although I guess this is wrong because they're just going to get to flashback Redcap melee. Yeah, maybe I should have just exiled Redcap this turn and waited a turn to do this. That's probably the case. Klothys probably going to drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line here with our opponent not being able to... With our opponent not being able to get Croxa going, they really don't have a fast clock. Opponent wasted their rampage. I mean, they're never going to rampage Klothys. We have 2, 3, 4. So we have enough things in the bins to kill them with this. This is smart. That's not a card I realized I was playing around. If I had realized that, I would have prioritized killing this probably. I think I'm supposed to do this and Domri's ambush the Mire Triton. They could red cap my Pelt Collector, but I'm pretty okay with that. That's a lot of life gain. What are we playing around? By playing my cards out? Croxa. They're not necessarily safe in my hand, because the opponent's deck has discard in it. Oh, I guess, God, Klothys is so good against these escape decks. I've not, Gengar. I'm currently watching through Lucifer on Netflix in my TV time. I think I'm through season 2. Or in season 2. Yeah, this game really feels like it highlights the power of Klothys. Just like how it's kind of able to take over this game where they don't have a clock. Well, it takes 5 cards to recast this, so they couldn't play in response. They only had 3 other cards in their bin. I think I'm leaving these lands in my hand, even though they're going to be discarded to Davriel, because I want them to use Davriel all the way, rather than leaving it in play to hit me. What historic cards does he put in playing? Just lands so far, I think. Yeah, I think just lands so far. I mean, we are drawing pretty poorly, but like we're also like in a winning spot, right? So it's hard to get too upset when like we're ahead, even though we're not drawing well. Now, if they have another removal spell that gains them life, playing this out kind of sucks. But I think I'm definitely supposed to go for it. Our baby's almost ready to hatch. Thanks for the 8 months, Pixie. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around.
Let's tidy up.
That's really cute. All right, so you're dead. Klothys is gonna kill you. Yeah, Klothys just doing, like, its best indestructible sulfuric vortex impersonation there, huh? It's like, don't mind me. I'm just gonna sit over here. I think I'm gonna trim another ambush. I don't really know that I want much of that effect here. I don't really have a ton to remove. Hand seems good. Yeah, I agree, Gully. Arcanist, especially because their deck has a lot of escape things in it too that's like already utilizing the graveyard. I feel like they have a pretty low payoff for Arcanist in the cards they've shown us so far. I think that's a reasonable assertion. I really hate the design of Legion's End as a card. I don't think it's too strong. I just think it's a crappy design. I think cards like this that give you no opportunity to play around them just suck. Like, I really wonder what Growth Chamber Guardian did in the Future League that they thought that this was a card they needed to print. Like, because that's the card they printed this to go after, right? Was almost assuredly Growth Chamber Guardian. No, if this is printed to go after Field of the Dead, it wouldn't take cards out of their hand. Maybe Krasis, maybe. I could see Krasis a little bit, perhaps. That was one of my happiest times in Magic, when Growth Chamber Guardian was a constructed playable card. That was a good standard format. This game's shaping up a lot like the last game, only we don't have a Klothys in play, doming them for 2 while we sit here, unfortunately. Hey, Bill, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Rawr. This dies. There's only 1 card in my bin because all these dorks got exiled. Feels bad, man. If Legion's End is in your sideboard, do you board in to deal with Krasis? Depends on the matchup. The old 6 mana to Assassin's Trophy your Phoenix deal. I have to share something that I just can't stop smirking or thinking about. So I banned someone for coming into here and they said earlier they'd vote for Trump over Sanders in the general because they don't like socialism. And I thought the username looked familiar, and it turns out my memory was right, and there's someone that contributed to the St. Jude charity stream. And like, I don't understand how you can think donating to a charity like St. Jude is good, but like at the same time, people don't deserve healthcare. Like, just for reference, the reason why St. Jude is my charity of choice when I do personal giving or when we ran that charity stream is because St. Jude ensures that everyone gets taken care of regardless of their ability to pay. And it's so weird to me. Like, I feel like if more people sat down and thought about disconnects like that, we would just end up in such a better place, because they'd realize that like the way they live their life and the things that they do align with the ideas that Sanders is presenting and the way he's presenting them. If you like, you don't think about it in terms of like, do I want Medicare for all? You ask yourself the question, should children and families get medical care when their kids are sick regardless of their ability to pay? If the answer to that is yes, Sanders is the candidate for you. And I feel like we get so caught up in like the policies and the names and the mudslinging and the big scary socialism word that we don't actually think about what it means to people's like actual lives. St. Jude, past treating people regardless of their ability to pay, also does an incredible amount of research, working towards a cure to cancer is a good thing to note too. But the reason why they're my go-to of all the things that do that is because of the way they treat people. And I mean, again, like, we're kind of flooded here, but like being tilted doesn't really do anything, right? Because like we're fine, like our opponent's not doing anything. We finally got 3 things in here, so we get to do this. Yeah, both sides are flooding here for sure. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and then play a land, and then double pump the Phoenix so it's lethal, right? I just want to threaten lethal this turn. Thanks for the 11 months, 3 HD gamers, I appreciate that, welcome back. How does their deck win? Yeah, they killed us with Croxa in the first game. All right, back to 0 cards. Reset the counter. Right, slow and steady. The old mid-range deck. Again, both sides flooded there, but we just kind of kept our cool and eventually drew through some threats. Managed to scrape it out without Klothys. Phoenix was very, very good there. Yeah, the beard's been good. I actually, over the weekend, I finally got annoyed enough and actually shaved the stash mostly off. Because the stash kept like getting in my mouth while I was trying to eat and it was annoying, but the big beard's been good. It's gonna look good blue. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it blued this weekend, but if not this weekend, then next weekend, I believe. Gotta set aside like 3 hours for that. Yeah, I agree, Peel. I think there's a big disconnect there. Dr. Brouhaha, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think Bernie's gonna win too, Sam. It's gonna be great. Doesn't matter what Warren does. Doesn't matter who endorses Biden. Let's just all get out and vote for Bernie. It's gonna be wonderful. Probably Nexus of Fate, which means we have a pretty good start here. Just like double busted Burning-Tree. Well, shoot. Alright, well, I think I'm still supposed to do this because I need to draw a land real bad. Alright, 50% to discard a card I want. 50% to discard the card I want. God bless America, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Alright, so Pelt Collector here We'll get one bigger when all of these die, and it'll get another bigger from this. So still gonna have a pretty good chance here. And if they do blow the blast zone here, they're gonna be putting themselves down mana to do it. So that's nice. I love you too, wifey. What's my beard trimming process? I've never had my beard long enough to really trim it. It's like my first time really growing it out a bit. They let me attack. Oh, they killed their search too. Whoa, that's actually a really good interface thing there. Did y'all see the reminder text in the center said Gallia or whatever her name was for the discard at random? So it wasn't like leaving me to guess what we were discarding. Bigger streamers get 3.5 per sub, but yeah, Christy basically donates $1.50 per month. All right, so they're almost certainly an Exus deck, right? So this is a Questing Beast matchup. It's a Repeal matchup. It's a Domri's Ambush out matchup. It's probably a Bonecrusher Giant. No, Bonecrusher Giant counters Fog as well. Let's keep that in mind. What do I trim here? I need one trim, chat. Need one trim. Is it just little Zhur-Taa? It might be Spellbreaker, bring the curve down a touch. Now, I think I want max 2s to go with my Burning-Tree Emissary. I guess Klothys is slow. Yeah, let's trim Klothys. That's probably right. Easy mulligan here, no second land. Can I keep this? It is never correct to go above. Don't do it. Let's draw a land. This hand draws a land in 2 draw steps is kind of absurd, huh? Swish. Swish. Almost cast the wrong one there first. I think Gruul is probably one of the decks to beat in this format. It's very consistent at what it does. That's an incredible time, Dwight. Let's get you a castle erected on your plot of Hoglandia. Thank you for the 4 years of support. Thanks for keeping me around. Borrower buys him a little bit of time here. With this Mystic Repeal, we should be enough disruption to beat them down, though, I think. Oh, they're risking a land drop. Or at least they were before they drew. Oh, I'm dumb. I should have played this out first, right? I missed a counter on one of these. Missed a counter on one of those. It'll be okay. Should have an extra 2/2. I think they look sweet, Space. It's hard to know exactly how they're all going to fit in, especially because we don't know what they're permanently banning or unsuspending. For those of you that haven't seen the new historic cards, info here. Are they dead? I hope so. Let's see if the one point I missed might bite us here. So if I put this here, it's 6, 7, 8. If I put this here, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we just put them to 2. So I wouldn't have lethal regardless. Do I want to kill the ooze? Nah, I think I want to just deal the most damage. Like, they don't have 3 green for the ooze. And like, if it becomes a 4/4 next turn, that's like really not a big deal. So they'd be at 1 here if I had played sequence my turn slightly better the previous turn. I went away for a week and I feel like your beard doubled in length. Impressive. Listen, I can't grow hair up here anymore, chat. It's got to go somewhere, right? Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised, Rido, that someone that had been here for as long as that probably heard me talk a lot, like, had the thought to, like, say, yeah, I don't know. I don't move past it, but yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel I'm fortunate to be able to, like, just remove people who are like that from my chat rather than have to, like, try and pander for their $5. All right, we're doing this one for over an hour, but there's only one more match. The one match we lost in this set, I missequenced to lose, so hopefully we can snag the last one and get a strong 5-1 finish. Even if we lose, 4-2 is very respectable. I like the core of this list a lot, for sure. Burning-Tree Emissary is really, really good. Hey, Sailor Dark, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. Nice. I'm glad you're enjoying the Team of Breach full effect. We're actually going to get back to that one today. It'll be our second standard deck. Oh, historic. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it is good in historic too. More combo focus build is sweet. I don't think I've ever seen this card before. Oh gosh. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. I appreciate the 12 months. I don't know that that's a fair assessment. I do think that Bernie's a lot closer to center than a lot of people like to give it credit for, just because the entire overtone window in the US is so far to the right. But I don't know, calling him a moderate's not accurate. Gallia here, gonna have a really good chance to turn our lands into some potentially useful cards, which is great. To be fair to our opponent, these constructed events are a good way to farm for resources if you don't have a lot of in-game currency. Like, again, if you're looking to expand your arena collection, you only have to go 2 and 2 in this event to get your gold back, plus make a profit in some random cards that you get. And if you go 3-2, you actually net a profit in gold. Well, that's a little rude. Oh, I guess that actually just doesn't matter. Actually, let's do this. I don't get to draw 2 this turn, but it makes Pelt Collector bigger. And unless they can somehow eat us here. Meddling Mage is being added on the 12th, Justin. So the cards, newly added cards to Historic, won't be here until the 12th. So that is a future list of cards. Or I could go 10-0 against you. No, didn't you hear, David? They increased the prizes in that event by a lot. They added 50% more. If you went 10-0 in the event on Saturday, you got 3,000 gems, not just 2,000 gems. Hey, thanks for the 17 months, Jensen, and thanks for taking part in the democratic process. Feel the burn. If you spend your entire month grinding, you too could get a chance to play for glory and $15 worth of prizes. Zeros, thank you for the entire year of support. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Niv. I think probably standard. I think you could likely do either, but I think I'd prefer standard. There's a sweet Fire's Niv build we played earlier in the season that might be okay still in standard. Wouldn't mind tuning that up. I think I mulligan this just because it's missing any red. You also get points or something. Sorry, yeah, you do get those incredibly valuable points. How's it going? It's going swell, Thomas. We got beat up in Pioneer this morning, but we had a good time while doing it. Playing a little bit of Historic in this format's been a lot of fun. Speaking of, something I haven't plugged in a little bit, if you are a Twitch subscriber, you should check your email from over the weekend, double check your spam box. I sent out my quarterly sub survey. I don't believe I currently have any submissions waiting to be added to the queue. So if it's not in there, I don't have it waiting. There is, based on the feedback of the sub survey so far, I'm going to be planning to start doing Historic every stream moving forward. There's pretty overwhelming support for seeing more Historic on the channel. Some 80% of subscribers said that they are subscribed for some amount of Historic content. Perfect. What percent was Historic last sub-survey? It was actually pretty high last survey, too. What was last survey? Last survey had it at about 75%, 77%. So it's up like 3 points. More importantly, Pioneer's down like 25 points. Hey, thanks for the Prime support, Koopa. Welcome to a live one. I appreciate it. If you didn't get a sub-survey sent to your email, I'd encourage you to double check your Twitch notifications. I won't be sending it out again, but you should join the subscriber Discord server. It's linked in the announcement section there. Subs Discord server, something a good place to be anyways. Then you should put anything, it's all great. If you don't have strong feelings on the on-screen content, feel free to check it all. If I put that option there. You know, I wonder, that's maybe I should make a note for that for my summer one. A question I haven't measured before on a survey is, would you still be subscribed if my chat wasn't sub only? I feel like that would probably be a metric that would be useful to collect data on. So this puts them to 2, which means Klothys kills them next turn. Yeah, assuming nothing else gets bumped or added, Kiesis will be up tomorrow. You know, like, a non-zero amount would still be subscribed, right? Like, I had a good number of subs when we turned into sub-only mode, but I wonder, that's just not something I've ever measured before. I also don't really intend to ever turn sub mode off. Like, that question wouldn't be... I wouldn't ask that question, like, planning to turn sub-only mode off, because, like, we tried the experiment by letting non-subs talk with shillings, and that ended up being less than pleasant for me, but it's just something I haven't collected data on before. Yeah, Marty, in the one loss we had, I lost to Soul Siblings, and I punted the game we lost in 3. As far as this list is concerned, it felt like a pretty reasonable spread overall. I kind of feel like I'd like a third Phoenix to Ash in the 75. I guess the red sources could be a little bit tough. We do only have 14 red. Getting red was an issue on more than one occasion, but we're also able to power through it. That deck list is updated, Black Rabbit. I don't think there's cards in Thrix that need to be added to that archetype. One thing you need to understand about my website is it's not like MTG Goldfish where the deck lists get posted and forgotten. When sets come out and regularly throughout the set release, I review those deck lists and make edits and remove ones that I don't think are good, even if I haven't played them. And I don't really think there's anything of value in Theros for the blue-red flash deck. So you can always depend on those lists on my site being kept up to date. All right, at any rate, we're going to roll on into some standard here. We had to cut the line for some Jund Oven, so I can't tease it on screen. I'm going to get that one imported here, and we'll be good to go in just a few minutes. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll. While we do that, be back in just a few moments. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.